Hello and welcome to Psychgeist, where we talk about the psychology of the era, the science of games. I am your host, Dr. Rachel Kowert, and on today's episode of Jargon, Schmargon, we're going to be talking about the Online Disinhibition Effect. The Online Disinhibition Effect is not a term that rolls off the tongue, but it is one that's very important to understand when talking about online communication. This term was first coined by John Suler in 2004 to explain the reasons why people self-disclose and people act out more frequently and intensely online than in person. Now, before we jump into this term, let's take one small step back and discuss mediated communication more broadly. Communication that is mediated, that is, communication that takes place through some kind of screen, provides a range of social affordances. For instance, it allows you to communicate with less nonverbal cues. You can roll up to raid with your guild with unbrushed hair in pajamas and nobody would know. Not that I did that. Mediated communication also allows for asynchronous communication. That is, you can say something and I can delay in responding to you, allowing me to carefully craft a thoughtful response, rather than having to immediately respond within the realm of normal face-to-face communication rules and pacing. Online games have the additional social affordance of the game itself. It provides a context, it provides a subject of communication, and it provides built-in excuses for a delay in responding. Hey, I was in the middle of killing Onyxia, I needed a minute. The Online Disinhibition Effect refers to a cluster of these affordances that come into play when we talk about relationships formed online. And for the context of this video, relationships formed through online games. Specifically, the Online Disinhibition Effect refers to dissociative anonymity, the idea that you don't know me, and invisibility, the idea that you can't see me in online communication. So let's break this down, starting with dissociative anonymity. In the words of Suler, quote, "When people have the opportunity to separate their actions from their in-person lifestyle and identity, they feel less vulnerable about self-disclosing and acting out. Whenever they say or do can't be directly linked to the rest of their lives. In a process of disassociation, they don't have to own their behavior by acknowledging it within the full context of an integrated offline-online identity." So Suler is arguing that who we are online is compartmentalized. So in the case of deviant actions, like trolling for instance, they convince themselves that these behaviors aren't themselves at all. There's a distance there. The second component of the Online Disinhibition Effect, invisibility, refers to the fact that people cannot see one another when they're online. Invisibility gives people a sense of courage to do things they otherwise wouldn't. When you combine this with anonymity, this is where the Online Disinhibition Effect gets its power. The Online Disinhibition Effect is one of the key features of communications in games and has been associated with both the best and the worst in online gaming communities. For example, the Online Disinhibition Effect can promote a sense of trust between people online, which can stimulate open and intimate conversations because it reduces the fear of social repercussions. Supporting this, research has found people are more inclined to self-disclose, to share personal information and personal stories at a quicker rate than is found in non-anonymous relationships. Originally, the invisibility component of the Online Disinhibition Effect was thought to limit the quality of communication between people online. However, researchers are now starting to suggest that this lack of nonverbal cues, what we are wearing, what our facial expressions are, may actually be more socially beneficial than harmful, and again promote greater self-disclosure, trust, and intimacy within friendships made online. However, as I mentioned, the effect works both ways. What brings us together also tears us apart. Talking about the trolls. With a lack of immediate social repercussions, individuals can feel a greater sense of freedom to behave badly. This is the dissociative part discussed earlier, and in ways they wouldn't necessarily behave if they were face-to-face with the same individuals in a room. Social rules are more easily broken down when they are perceived to be little repercussions to their actions. So the next time you join a discussion about online communication, remember the Online Disinhibition Effect, invisibility, and anonymity, which gives us both the best and the worst parts of our gaming communities. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and until next time, be excellent to each other and always cite your sources.